Well, let's jump into your wet boy, late GM, late LeBron
Hell
James.
Yeah.
Had a fantastic night against Minnesota. I got in some trouble because in one of my
treble or some trouble?
Trouble.
Okay.
Trouble. Shouldn't spell on a podcast, but I got it right. Anyways, I'm in a group chat and someone dropped the stat line from LeBron James's game last night, and they were like, "Wow, LeBron's back." I'm like, he kind of deserves some blame here for the fact that his team's 7-13. I'm glad he finally stepped up and won a game for his team.
Oh Jesus!
And someone got pissed. They were like, "Does Brady deserve any blame for the Super Bowl?" I'm like, "Yeah, he deserves some blame. I mean, he wasn't perfect.
Fucked up that last
he wasn't
drive.
great. Yeah, I mean, he fucked up that last drive. So I mean, like." LeBron was great. LeBron's been stupid all year, but I mean, like, he deserves some fault being the leader of that team, going in 7-13, and also being the GM. And GM, LeBron stepped up today.
We do know that LeBron gets a little passive aggressive at times, and yeah, I'll say that he could have been a better person for this Cavs team.
Okay, I don't know what that meant.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you just know how LeBron gets.
Let's jump into the trades that this GM made, LeBron James, because Kobe Altman isn't really the GM out here.
We all know who's doing that.
Side note, Kobe Altman, you're the real GM, and you're fucking fantastic. But anyways, let's jump into the Cleveland trades. First trade was Isaiah Thomas trade. Cavs get Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. Lakers get Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, and the Cavaliers own 2018 first-round pick. I think there's some protections on that, but it's probably Lotto only. I don't think the details have come out on that one. The second trade was Rodney Hood and George Hill go to Cleveland. The Kings get Joe Johnson. They're going to be cutting him, Amon Shumpert, and a 2020 second-round pick via Miami. And the Jazz get Derrick Rose, who they are also cutting, and Jay Crowder via Cleveland. The third and final trade was bye-bye D Wade, according to SB Nation, which is the perfect way to put it. Cavs get a protected second-round pick in 2024, I believe what Ricky said. And the Heat get Dwayne Wade, so D Wade going back to Wade County out in Miami. So out Isaiah Thomas, Channing Frye, Amon Shumpert, D Rose, Jay Crowder, D Wade, their own 2018 first round, keeping that Brooklyn pick, and Miami's 2020 in Rodney Hood, George Hill, Jordan Clarkson, Larry Nance. They wanted to get younger. They get younger. Some impressive moves from Kobe Altman. What is your guys' reaction to these moves? Do the Cavs kind of put themselves back atop the Eastern Conference? Because I know you're saying they might not beat the Celtics, Ricky.
Well, I mean, my question is still, I am not counting. Like, a ton of people are like, oh my God, the Cavs are back, put them in the finals. I'm not so quickly putting them back. I like the pieces that they brought in. I like Jordan Clarkson. I like Larry Nance, George Hill, Rodney Hood. They should be good. But offensively, this team got a little bit better. The question for me with this is defense. Defensively,
can they get worse?
Well, defensively, did they do enough to compete? The Warriors are a different beast, but just with the Celtics, they do enough to compete with the Celtics.
Real quick, defensively, I understand where you're coming from. Did they do enough to get to that level of the Warriors and Celtics? But they got better defensively.
Yes.
I mean, they got rid of Isaiah Thomas, who was terrible defensively. Channing Frye, who's just a three-point shooter now. He's great in the locker room, but just a three-point shooter. Shump has been nothing special this year. You look at D Rose. D Rose has been injured. Hasn't really wanted to play basketball that much. Jay Crowder hasn't been Jay Crowder. When Jay Crowder's on, he's a great defender, but Jay Crowder hasn't looked like the same person out there. And Dwayne Wade hasn't played defense in years.
Yeah, but really the only
consistent
guys...
defense.
The
He turns
only
on
guys
for a game at a time.
Okay.
that would be defensively is Rodney Hood can play defense, but it's on one night, off another. George Hill... but this year... George Hill this year has not been defensively what he's been in the past.
Yes, but you know what you can get from George Hill, and George Hill now around a winning team and a winning culture, hopefully. Yeah. He can bring that back. We know what we can get from prime George Hill.
Let me see it, and then I'll believe it.
I just think that you're very underestimating George Hill in the right system. Think about when he got to play off ball for the Pacers, when he got to play off ball for the Jazz. Like, he is an extremely good guard who can do 3 and D, and his 3-point percentage is incredible. Like, I think this was purely a symptom of him being on the Kings and being asked to do stuff that he's not comfortable doing. And then the minutes were all weird over there because they're trying to figure out what it's Kings' problem, not my problem. So I think they did awesome. Like, honestly, they flipped over their assets for wins all the way across the board. Like, Clarkson, I know the Lakers were moving on from him. He's still a great contributor off the bench, great spark plug, get the offense rolling. And honestly, the only problem with him is like his court vision, not the best. Like he doesn't, always look for the best pass. No big deal. You're going to be running second unit. Hill, huge upgrade over IT as far as fitting in this Cavs system and what they need out there. Also like half a foot taller. So win. Nance, I love the kid. Tons of energy. He is pretty athletic, and I think honestly, like he can fill in as their 4 while K-Love is out. I know they're going to be splitting time between he and Jeff Green, but still, I think that's a really nice pickup. And Hood, I mean, again, you have another great scorer who can come on either start or come off the bench, depending on if JR feels like playing basketball. And it's just, I think all 4 additions are really great for this team and really set the tone for the expectations going forward. Yeah,
and one thing too, I mean, I know I was reading some stuff from the Jazz, and one thing was that Rodney Hood didn't fit into the Jazz culture or anything like that, and obviously he's going to have to fit into that. But one thing, now the Cavs have 2 free open roster spots as well, and like Dave wanted me to mention beforehand, they're going to be bringing in Kendrick Perkins, who is an enforcer in that locker room, and we've seen, obviously, he's been a part of championship teams before in his NBA career, so we don't know what Perk can bring on the floor. But
I don't know if he'll even see the floor, but to be honest, it's worth to have that veteran presence in the locker room, because that's what they missed by not having Richard Jefferson.
Yeah,
like he was one of the best guys for that locker room. Him and Channing Frye together, like I think that you lose a lot just by adding. We talked about all the divas they had on this team with Wade, D Rose, and LeBron, and just too much personality.
And one thing, too, now is that the fact that they're going to be aggressive on the buyout market, possibly bringing in Joe Johnson, who they just was a part of one of their trades. But let's get back to the whole idea of the Warriors and Celtics, because, again, 7-13 in their past 20 games. The Cavs haven't been great by any standards. Yeah, they had a really nice win lately against the Timberwolves in OT, 140-138 on the LeBron game winner. But again, 7-13, you're losing to the Warriors. You're blowing 21-point leads to Orlando freaking Magic. Rough time out in Cleveland. Do you think this is going to be enough to right the ship out in Cleveland?
Well, I think it could be enough to right the ship in the Eastern Conference. I still think that this Cavalier team, unless some injury happens to the Warriors or some circumstance in that finals, if they make it, like Draymond fouls out or an injury happens within a game, something of that magnitude, the Warriors are still my favorite to win the title. However, what I think these trades could do is they could right the ship, and on the best possibility, they get obviously to the finals. But I think that these trades will make the Eastern Conference Finals more entertaining than the NBA Finals. I am guaranteeing Celtics Cavs going 7.
Are you just writing off the Toronto Raptors, who tonight will probably tie up first place in the Eastern Conference?
The Raptors are interesting. They will have to play, if everything holds up right now, they'll have to play the Cavaliers. I wouldn't completely write them off, but they'd have to play LeBron. And the Raptors, whenever they play LeBron, doesn't do well.
Like tonight, they have a shot to take first place. So if they get first place in the Eastern Conference, do you think that they're a different matchup versus the Boston Celtics in my mind? Because this team they just added 4 guys who can play like 1 through basically 3, 4. Like they added young talent on the outside. So
the only thing that changes if they get the 1 is that the second round matchup between the Celtics and Cavs will be the most entertaining.
So total write-off.
So are we writing the Cavs out from getting the number 1 seed right now? I know there's 7 games back or whatever, but there's still a couple months left to play.
Games left,
I think they'll finish. They'll finish 2 or 3. I don't think they'll be number 1.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there because I mean, if they right now 1 and 2 is so close. If you're saying that they're going to get 2, I mean, it's not crazy to think they can get 1.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I think they're. I think right now Toronto is a game back or half a game back.
They're 1 game back. Yeah, and they're beating the Knicks tonight. So.
One game back. So if they get that win, they're going to be tied with Boston. So I mean, they still have 7 games to get to 1 or 2. I feel like they can get to 2. I mean, they're going to have to go on some incredible run. They're going to have to beat up on everybody. But do you feel like that can push forward? I mean, you're saying enough for the 2. Do you feel like possibly even the 1's still out there?
Well, I mean, the thing that I think that either the Raptors or the Celtics, one of those teams, you have a better chance of one of those teams kind of falling off, not both of them.
Yeah, the Raptors, I think, have one of the easiest schedules remaining left. So that's why I'm putting my money with them for the 1 seed going into the playoffs right now. But I think it's just going to be too many. There's too many games, or there's not enough games left for them to close that distance. I think they're going to be the 3 seed. I think that's fair in my mind because, look, this team, I know I joked around about before the show about like chemistry in the locker room and, how are they going to put together and play on the court? But at the same time, it's like, can you get worse than all the drama that was going on before? Well, you're starting from scratch, sort of, but you've got these pairs of guys. You've got Clarkson and Nance who played together. You've got George Hill and Rodney Hood who have had time together. Yeah. So, you're not individually, completely one guy out.
Well, and one thing I wanted to say before you jump in is just their next 4. Yeah, they got the Hawks, but then the Celtics, Thunder, and Wizards. That's the Cavs.
Yeah, and they also got San Antonio as well in the rest of February. But at least before the All-Star break happens, they got Atlanta, Boston, and Washington, like you mentioned. However, the one thing, not Washington, I'm sorry, Washington is the game coming out. So it's Atlanta, Boston, Oklahoma City before the All-Star game happens. But one thing, too, is obviously K-Love is also going to be out as well for 6 to 8 weeks. So I don't want to leave that out there as well. So that's obviously going to take out their chances of getting up to that 1 seed or 2 seed. But again, with this Cavs team, knowing LeBron going to X amount of straight finals, 7 I think it is up to now, 7 straight finals for LeBron James, do we feel like the seeding really doesn't matter? Again, the Raptors are going to be a great team. The Raptors are currently a great team, possibly going up to the number 1 seed. Celtics have been a great team throughout this year, one of the best coaches in Brad Stevens. But then again, this is LeBron James, the best player right now on the face of the earth. I know you can argue that his team's not winning. Steph and KD are. KD just beat him in the finals. But in my opinion, LeBron's the best player in the NBA. I don't think too many people disagree with that. With this move, do you feel like the Cavs really just don't really care about the seeding? It's just the fact that how you finish the rest of these 29 games that you currently have, and if they're able to finish hot, would you still have them as your favorites for the Eastern Conference winners?
I think if they are able to finish hot with this core, I would put them as favorites going to the Eastern Conference. Yeah, it's hard. It's just LeBron. Like I said, you're right, because LeBron is the best player. And NBA, one player can outshine, and he can do his whole, I'm going to average a triple-double during the playoffs. No big deal. And, that's just something that I've come to, not expect, but I wouldn't ever count it out. And because of past playoff performances where, Toronto has missed out both of their guards playing, absolute crap in the playoffs, it's just there are trends that you have to follow regardless of how well teams are doing the regular season. Playoffs are a different beast, and LeBron in the playoffs is a whole different LeBron. So that's my thought.
The thing I want to go back to really quick is with the Raptors, not writing them off, but like you said, the guards haven't played well. And 2, let's say they do play Cleveland in the Eastern Conference Finals because the Raptors get the 1 seed. You haven't proven to me in the playoffs that you can beat LeBron. So that's the only reason why I'm overlooking the Raptors. Because
I hope they do play really well, though, but it's just, history.
To me, first to answer Sean's question, I wouldn't care about seeding if I'm the Cavaliers. We say it every year as a joke. The Cavs could get the 8th seed and LeBron will drag them kicking and screaming into the NBA Finals. To me, the only team right now, and the Raptors could be the wild card, I'll throw that out there, but to me right now, the only team I can see blocking them from getting to the finals still is the Celtics. And that's only because of when you get to that 7-game series, the magnitude of the emotion going through Kyrie Irving wanting to stick it one more time to not only the former team, but to LeBron James in a way.
But you don't think LeBron wants to stick it to Kyrie?
No, he does. He does. But I'm saying, that's the thing on the other side of LeBron. If they didn't have that Kyrie aspect, then it's Cavaliers straight to the finals. Plus, I would give the coaching swing over to Brad Stevens rather than Ty Lue easily. Yeah.
Yeah, the problem is playoffs and young players. I can't think of a young team that has won a championship. Can you a team with they've got 7 first or second year players, and they're starting in their 10-man roster, who actually sees play every night. That's just, they have so much youth, and usually youth gets exposed in the playoffs. In series, it always happens. You always see veteran guys step up, veteran guys who can be role players on the road. They know the system. They know how to play on the road in crunch time, and that's just my feeling is that's why I'm going with the safe pick is LeBron. The secondary for me is still the Raptors, but the talent is there for Boston. I just don't know if they'll be able to step up under the spotlight.
And one thing with Boston, too, Gordon Hayward, we know he got injured in the first game of the season. He said back in December he's open to returning to the court before the season ends. It's a prayer, it's a Hail Mary for Boston, but they could possibly be bringing him back. And if it's the Eastern Conference Finals, maybe he has a couple games before him, he comes back in the second round. Again, it's not for sure going to happen. You probably not want to rush him, especially after that contract and especially after the injury.
IT too. But you see what happens when guys come back early.
But still, if you feel like he's good enough and he's able to go and he's able to make that recovery, you also might be throwing Gordon Hayward into the mix. 15 of the last 29 games for the Cavs are against playoff teams. Obviously, it's going to have to take time for this team to gel, but like you mentioned, two of the pairs have played before, George Hill and Rodney Hood in Utah last year, and then obviously Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance for a while now in Los Angeles. with the Cavs, what do you need to see out of them for the last 29 games to really put your full stock into the Cavs being back? Or do you really not care how they finish? Because we saw last year they were floundering even going into the playoffs.
I don't care how they finish. I just want to see, like Dave mentioned, I want to see how they come together. Where, Clark and Nance have played together. Yeah, Hood and I'm blanking. Give me the other one.
George Hill.
I almost said George. How they played together. However, when you're taking those two separate entities, they have to learn to play together. Plus, they need to play together with this team that is already there. That's the thing I question. I don't care how they finish because they're going to make the playoffs. It's just how they do. And kind of to answer Dave's question, youngest team to, and this is all by averages, to win the finals, 77. The 1977 champions and the Blazers. The most recent team that was the youngest was 26 years old. That was the 2014-2015 Warriors.
That's eighth youngest team. So, it's not really it's not a thing. And to be fair, like those Warriors had a phenomenal run.
However,
I can't take anything
you
away
look at the top 10 oldest, 98 Bulls, 2011 Mavericks, 97 Bulls, 07 Spurs, 96 Bulls, 99 Spurs.
Dynasty.
13 Heat, 14 Spurs.
Where is that getting us?
Old people dominate playoffs.
Yes, the older people in the playoffs. That's why LeBron. Yeah. That's the only thing going back to like that Cavs Celtics where the Cavs are younger.
Yeah, no. The thing, and to go back to Sean, the thing that I need to see out of this team is just a consistent level of effort. Like the Cavs got to a point where not even they cared about the game. Like it was secondary to them. It was, we've got our own shit going on in the locker room, and we're not right there. So when we go on the court, it shows, and it shows that we don't care, and it shows that. Yeah, we can stomp all over the Magic in one half, but I mean they just turn it off and they're like, nah, we're done. We're like, I've got nothing left. I don't want to do anything, and that's just a massive ego problem, a massive attitude problem that hopefully the ship has now been righted. The one thing that I think that is going to be easy for them is the transition into Clarkson, Hill, Nance, and Hood. Is that no player has gotten worse outside of Isaiah Thomas from playing with LeBron James. Like every single player who has been moved to LeBron's team has always performed better after, and it's just he is such an unselfish player, and he sets players up for success, gives them better looks, pulls more attention than they've ever had in their career before. So I really do expect them to transition well. I think the big question mark, and you nailed it earlier, was the K-Love injury. Is, if he gets to see some time before the end of the season to get back into game shape, can he get up to 20, 25 minutes without being winded? Because it's really like you can be in shape, but game shape is a whole different thing. So I think it's effort level from everybody, and then it comes down to K-Love's health. One
thing with K-Love though, I mean he'll still be able to stay in shape technically. He just can't work on his hands. So I mean it's not like he's going to be getting fat. He could still work out.
Well, I'm not saying fat K-Love's going to return.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying it's one thing where I don't think K-Love's going to use his stamina.
He can get on the elliptical.
What's that?
He can get on the elliptical.
That's what I'm saying. He can run on a treadmill. He can run. He can do suicides.
Yeah, and that's fine. I'm just saying
suicides. You gotta get down and
use the other hand.
I don't know. What if that's his dominant hand?
Then use the other hand. Suicide. It's not like holding a baby.
We don't go half-ass suicides here, Sean. They're for real.
This guy knows he played volleyball in high school.
Jesus Christ.
Or eighth grade. I'm sorry, middle school.
It didn't play in high school.
Anyways, I don't know what that was. I threw that whole thing off. Final thoughts here on the Cavs trade. Are you going to go out bold and say the Cavs are going to the finals, Ricky?
No, I'm still sticking to. I'm going to say when they play the Celtics, because either second or the Eastern Conference Finals, I'm going to say Celtics in 7 still. I'll wait to see how they play until I make the final predictions at the end of the season. But the one thought I wanted to add with the Cavs, with the thing I like about these trades, is even if LeBron leaves after this year, it sets them up good well after that. You have George Hill that's under contract till 2020. Clarkson's under contract till 2020. The only one that they would be losing at the end of this year would be Rodney Hood, who'd be a restricted free agent. You could even bring him back.
Yeah, I think that's really nice that they actually have a future going for them. I mean, George Hill's contract's obviously the sore thumb there. That's a lot of money for a guy who.
But if LeBron leaves, then I mean, at least it doesn't matter. We have George Hill.
I think there's 16 something over the cap right now.
Yeah,
with all the people
they're paying a lot of money.
Yeah,
they're paying a lot of money. I got probably them as the favorites going into the playoffs, and then I'm expecting like a Raptor showdown with them for the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't really know who I'll pick until I see the Raptors play in the playoffs. it's hard for me to say.
I am still confident in the Cavs. I was confident in them 2 months ago, and then they went on this terrible run. I went with
I
the
said
hot
last
take.
week, did you believe that they could still be the Eastern Conference Finals?
No. I don't think so. Did I?
No, I was saying,
he's asking.
I'm asking you now. Like
Oh.
last week, do you feel like they could have would you have
Made it
faith
to
in
the
that
Eastern
team?
Conference
Yeah.
Finals? I think they could have made it to the Eastern Conference Finals, yeah.
Okay.
Winning it? No, I think that would have been more of a...
This is a pretty damn low. I'm just
It
saying.
was, but then again, we saw a lot of low lows on the ends of Cleveland before as well. So I mean, it's not like you've never seen this low of a low before from Cleveland. I mean, last year they were losing to Brooklyn late in the season. So I mean, obviously there's some definite worries out there. So I would throw that out there, and also I like that you brought up the fact that it does set them up for the future, and that was something I was going to bring up too, and I totally slipped my mind.
And you still get Kevin Love too, even if LeBron leaves.
K-Love will still be there, and Rodney Hood's still young, Jordan Clarkson's still young, Larry Nance still young, George Hill not young, but still 31 years old, whatever he is.
Yeah.
And again, shout out to Kobe Altman. I think he did a fantastic job. I don't know what this means for LeBron in Cleveland. You guys want to throw any hot takes?
Well, I'm just going to say this. This is coming from the mouth of Colin Cowherd. He retweeted
Awesome.
after the IT trade. He did tweet, LeBronzo is back on.
Oh, great.
I mean, there's either that or he's signing a 1-1. I mean, I don't think it's the end of the world. I really don't.
It doesn't push the needle whether he's going or not.
No, I'm just saying I couldn't even pull these trades off in 2K, So critical.
Did you try it?
I didn't get a chance yet, but I was looking at it and I was like, no, that wouldn't fly.
All right. Well, anyways, let us know what you think on the Cavs trades. Are they righting the ship? Do you think that they still have a shot against Golden State? Hell, do they even have a shot against Toronto or Boston? Ricky making the hot take that they're not going to.